Hello and welcome to The Lonely Apothecary, a channel documenting my life as a reclusive and introverted homebody. This is the first episode of what is essentially the audio/video diary of me attempting to romanticize this solitary period of my life. Anyway, let's have a little chat. I hope you're taking care of yourself and staying hydrated. It is 1 in the morning. Let us not speak of my terrible sleep schedule. I have extenuating circumstances that constrain me to filming in these hours. I just tried the Alani Nu Witch's Brew. Currently unsure about my opinion, but I will update you on it. And I have water off to the side. But there are slightly more important things for us to address as of this moment, and that is my current journaling ecosystem, or my techo kaigi, wherever your loyalties may lie. You are being subjected to my ever so slightly unhinged yapping, because I must maintain an air of mystery in my real life. This ecosystem will be subjected to change, as I'm not satisfied with how disorganized and lawless has become under my neglect. As you can see, I have part of my journal ecosystem laid out in complete disarray. The original intention was for a handful of photos to display the trifold leather journals I made, but I found the aesthetic quite charming, and I left it as is for the video. So I have preemptively written out and described my journal ecosystem in this Kinmore planner that I've been testing out. So we'll use this as a reference to keep us on track and ensure that this isn't an hour-long video. And I will set it off to the side. So let's start from smallest to biggest. The first one is a passport trifold, and I named this leather Oxblood Revival. Here are the charms. The rat is my favorite. She's my travel companion. I intended for this to fulfill the role of a wallet notebook hybrid, but it's not my most successful endeavor so far. The plastic holder from Traveler's Notebook is currently failing me. I'll find a way to repurpose this or continue on because I love the color of the leather, and I yearn for this idea of mine to finally prevail. In here, I have a plastic folder that's housing some sticker sheets, a craft folder housing my pencil board, a sticker release, a lightweight refill for notes, and an accordion refill for stamp collecting. Number 2 is the A6 trifold in Vancouver Rainstorm. Here are the charms. I will be entirely honest, the notebooks that inhabit this cover are not fixed besides one, which is the Hobonichi A6 notebook that was a free gift from last year. I use this as a mirror scratch and list paper pad. The other two notebooks occupying this space as of the moment are the Hobonichi Original from 2024 and the Hobonichi Han A6 in Yamazakura but they change often. I will explain what they're for later. Number 3 is the A5 Slim Trifold in bok choy jadeite. Here's a quick peek at the charms. Once we unfasten the string, we're welcomed with 2 A5 Slim plastic folders. And 1 A5 Slim craft folder. The plastic folders house my sticker sheets, my reading tabs, sticky notes, bookmarks, while the craft folder keeps my hobonichi pencil boards secure. There's a Traveler's Notebook sticker release, a Traveler's Notebook 013 lightweight. This is for newsletter observations, and a 002 grid that is for on-the-go comment placing and research. Now we're on to the big A5 covers that are entirely susceptible to change, as the organization of these are beyond substandard. The utter pandemonium that has barraged my life has left me in shambles, which I will restore order and stabilize in this video, or at least try to. Here is the A5 trifold in Vancouver Rainstorm. Here are the charms. I forgot to mention that these are glow-in-the-dark letter beads. These ones say, "We were born sick, you heard them say it." When we unhook the closing elastic, you'll first see an A5 plastic folder. This contains a piece of art from Yi Dan Yuan of Meglor from the Silmarillion. Most of the art I have in my books is from them. Next is a Caterpie Pokemon card, a book card. Flip it over, there's another piece of art from Yi Dan Yuan of Luthien, some cards from Sticky, and a Pride and Prejudice bookmark from Warringal. In the actual pocket, I keep sticker sheets, greeting cards, and mini letter writing supplies. Now we'll delve into the actual notebooks. There's a hobonichi memo for quick commonplacing and research topics to investigate. This rather dilapidated stalogy, A5 365 in black, is meant for on-the-go media analysis, reviews, commonplace scratch paper. This Stalogy A5 365 in blue is meant for web novel scratch paper. And the final piece is a hobonichi pencil board. This next one is my current favorite, simply for what it contains. This is the A5 trifold in Bricks, Blood, and Kisses. Here are the charms. These glow-in-the-dark letter beads say, "Ain't it warm in you? The world's gone up in flames." Like Vancouver rainstorm, once we unveil the interior, we're met with another A5 plastic folder. This is another piece of art from Yidan Yuan of Megalore. This is a Pokemon card of my childhood best friend and forever starter Cyndaquil. I have business cards in here along with Spy X Family's little sheep charm, or at least the paper of it. Once we flip it over, there is another piece of art of Ignore an Address from Yidan Yuan, a Wearingle Dracula bookmark, and little sticker sheets from Pixelet Studio. Greeting cards, mini letter writing supplies, pencil boards, sticker sheets, and a postcard currently occupy the actual pocket. It's pretty full. Moving on to the actual notebooks that are homed in this cover. This is the Moleskine chapters for on-the-go novel ideas. This is the Midori MD A5 grid for web novel development. And this is the Stalogy A5 365 in black for web novel archiving and development. It's rather new, so I only have the introductory page in it. And that is the A5 trifold in blood, Bricks, Blood, and Kisses. This next one will require a monumental amount of alterations because it is the newest and most temporary. This is the A5 trifold in Halloween Nocturne. Here are the charms. That is a play doctor. The letter beads on this spell out, "Heaven is not fit, I would not change it." I forgot to mention that most of the letter beads that we've gone over so far spell out song lyrics from Hosier songs. If we open this, there is a Kindle planner in here, which is a more fresh version of this one that is simply meant for scratch paper. a Midori MD A5 dot, which is supposed to be for a common log, and the emshoi A5 dot is supposed to be a commonplace notebook. But this is terrible with fountain pens, and I simply cannot abide by that, so I am finding alternatives. And there is an A5 pencil board from Hobonichi. The last A5 trifold cover in our pile is Vespertine C, which is originally meant for business, and it's just as subject to adjustments as Halloween Nocturne over here. Here are the charms. The letter beads on that one spell out "Count Me Out, Tripping and Falling," which is from Kendrick Lamar's song "Count Me Out." If we open this, the first notebook we are greeted with is a Nota A5 Slim Plain, which is for product scratch and sketches. This is a Nota A5 Slim Inline, which is for business ideas, plans, and developments. The Eurofil A5 dot is for content creation. And this one isn't even supposed to be here. This is the Midori MD A5 dot for fanfiction. And I believe we are finally done with the A5 trifold notebooks. So after much effort, we finally have the trifold covers in a pile. Now we can progress to the two binders that we have in play. This is an A5 30mm ring, which is my new personal archive and log, a necessary measure when I used to scribble everything into a single notebook haphazardly and lose all the information I had intended to imprint on my mind permanently. This will host my reading archive and journal, media analysis and archive and reviews, general reviews, commonplace and research archive, wish lists, memory keeping, recipes, and personal notes. I do require a larger set of rings. And I'm pondering about the possibility of exploring that alternative myself. I have a set of 3 16mm binders meant for overflow and archival purposes, but I'm not confident as to where I've placed them, so we won't search for them right now. The last set of rings we have here is meant for my web novel references. It is my writing companion and contains vital information for my writing process. The letter beads spell out a heart-sided burden from House Moving Castle, and the cover is Ignore and Androth from Yidan Yuan's Silmarillion art. Now we're at the concluding section of my journal ecosystem / techo kaigi, where we proceed onto the notebooks and planners without a designated cover, which means we will need to make room for them. We'll commence with the Hobonichi A6, starting from the oldest. This is the 2024 A6 Han in Cats and Me, holding nothing because I'm deeply in love with this cover and I don't want to regret the contents I put in here. This is the Hobonichi A6 Han in Yamazakura, and this has my personal essays and poetry occupying the pages. The 2024 originals, of which I have 2. Are dedicated to content creation and social media criticism, while the other has web novel brainstorming. The 2025 A6 Hobonichis. Here is the A6 Han in Black Gingham. Suffers from the same fate as the Cats and Me. Holds nothing because I like the cover too much to put something I might not like in there. And then there is the Spy Family A6 Han. This has my contemporary web novels. And then here is the 2025 original, which has my fantasy web novels. And then as of right now, I have 4 Hobonichi planners, A5 planners. My oldest one is a 2024 cousin dedicated to my epic high fantasy magnum opus. It's this one. And this Hobonichi A5 grid notebook is the supplements. The 2024 A5 Han in Black Gingham is for web novel archives. And then the Hobonichi Techo 2025 cousin is my personal journal and planner, although I'm a little dissatisfied with how it handles certain writing tools. That's a complaint for another time. You've heard it all before. The 2025 Cousin Spring Start is another web novel archive, although it's a newer one and hasn't been broken in yet. I'm a little afraid that it'll be exactly like the 2025 January Start Cousin, so I haven't used it yet. Now, last but not least are the miscellaneous notebooks. First up is my Kinbor Weeks. This is an academic and professional planner. I might need an alternative in the coming planner season, as the note pages in this are insufficient. I am looking at the Hobonichi Weeks Antique Green Mega, but I'm not quite sure if I want to bite the bullet because they killed the free shipping threshold. Second is the Merman A6. It's merely a scratch pad and list maker. I customarily toss this into my belt bag for grocery runs. And last but not least are my A5 Midori MD planner and plane. They are just for ink swatches. And fountain pen reviews. As you can see, I am inundated with notebooks, and yet I find myself at a crossroads because my system simply isn't streamlined enough and the notebooks are not capable of performing in a satisfactory manner as they don't accommodate my preferred writing tools. This means my journal ecosystem necessitates revisions as the ongoing internals of my covers do not meet my personal requirements. So I'm just going to quickly clean this up and then I will bring back our A5 leather trifold notebook covers. So here is everything laid out. And let's go over the latest logistics of my plans that will not be fulfilled immediately because it's an expensive endeavor and we're in the middle of planner release season. The last thing I wish to do in this economy is overextend my personal budget for stationery and leave it barren and desolate because stationery and energy drinks is the only place I really spend money that isn't for necessities. So let's start with the trifold covers. This first one is easy. For my Bricks, Blood, and Kisses A5 cover dedicated to writing, I want an A5 plastic folder, craft folder, and fold-up folder. The notebooks I want in that cover are the A5 Midori Light Grid or Hobonichi Memo for on-the-go novel ideas, the A5 stalogy 365 Grid in black that I currently have in there for web novels, archiving, and development. And I'm thinking about an A5 Look Term 1917 in Fox Red for web novel development. I would love to keep the Midori grid, but it doesn't have enough pages, so she'll find a new purpose elsewhere. The second is my Halloween Nocturne A5 cover dedicated to my common log. I also want an A5 plastic folder, craft folder, and fold-up folder in there. The notebooks in there I want are an A5 Midori Light Grid for keys, legends, and guides. And it has to be the Midori Light Grid as I need a thin notebook with fountain pen friendly paper. I want an A5 Look Term 1917 411 in black for commonplacing. I was going to use the Peter Pauper Press ones that I have in storage, these ones, but they are not fountain pen friendly and they drive me insane because the pages are not aligned and they're cut incorrectly, so the dots don't line up on each page. And then I want an A5 Stalogy 365 in black for media analysis, reviews, and my reading journal. And then I'm thinking of an A5 Stalogy half year or an A5 Midori grid for general reviews. Next up is number 3, my Vancouver Rainstorm A5 cover, which will be dedicated to on the go and planning. I want an A5 plastic folder, craft folder, and fold-out folder, the A5 Hobonichi Memo for perpetuals, trackers, and lists, the A5 Hobonichi Cousin and or an alternative daily planner, an A5 like term 1917 in olive for content creation, and then I will also keep the A5 stalogy 365 in blue for web novel scratch paper, I suppose. Number 5 is an A5 cover dedicated to business. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this blue. We will see. But I want an A5 plastic folder, craft folder, fold-up folder, an A5 Midori MD in plain for product sketching / scratch notes. I already have one of those in my backstock, so I will probably just use that. An A5 Look Term 1917 in black for business planning. Although I'm contemplating just using the Peter Pop press I showed you guys here, because I don't think I'll be using fountain pens in it, which is kind of perfect. And then I'm looking for the A5 Muji monthly weekly planner for day-to-day business planning. The last cover is merely a possibility, although I think it'll be entirely unnecessary if everything works out, and that will be dedicated to a combination of things. I will have all the A5 plastic folder, craft folder, and fold-up folder, and A5 Look Term 1917 in black for commonplace and research, stalogy 365 in black or Yosaka green for web novel planning, and an A5 stalogy 192 in black for content creation. My only slim A5 cover in bok choy jadeite is for on the go everyday carry. I'm gonna keep all the accessories in there. I might add an A5 slim craft folder and change out the 002 grid notebook for a slightly more well put together one, and then I will put my week's academic and professional planner in there as well. The A6 doesn't require any changes or additions. She's perfect as is. And then last but not least is my Oxblood Revival Passport, which I will continue to experiment with as a potential notebook wallet hybrid. This process might entail 2 passport plastic folders, 2 passport craft folders. I'm going to keep the sticker release, and I will probably change out the passport note refill as I go through them, and then I will also keep the accordion refill in there to collect stamps. Beyond those essential modifications, I'm looking forward to the list of fun additions that will be completely superfluous but bring me a great amount of joy if I manage them before the year ends. Number 1 is I have an old Kobo e-reader. I'm in search of a cover for it so I can loop it into either my A5 cover in Vancouver Rainstorm or A5 Halloween Nocturne. Number 2 on the list is searching for my Pokemon cards to carry around in the plastic sleeves. Number 3 is searching for more business card size prints on my favorite art, or I might have to do it myself. And number 4 is seeking out more business cards on my favorite shops, because people always ask me for recommendations of where I get my things, so I will have to do that. I suppose this is the conclusion of my inane rambling about my journal ecosystem / techo kaigi. I hope you enjoyed your time spent with me. I will presumably commit the same crimes in the near future, as I intended to film a what's in my bag, more videos about stationery, delving deeper into my journal ecosystem after I make some changes, or going over the agenda for my 2026 planner lineup. You can let me know what you want to see from me soon in the comments below, but that will be all for today, my lovely little chrysanthemums. Until next time when the apothecary opens, wholeheartedly and with love, I am closing up shop.